Greetings, Boogie fans! Michael here, and the other day I made a community tab post asking you all to comment your hopes for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, whether that's about new Pokemon, or forms, or features, or mechanics, or whatever. And in today's video, I'm gonna be reading your comments and reacting to them. Pokemon forms. I really want Chatot to get some love. That is an interesting Pokemon to want to get some love. I've never personally cared about Chatot. Perhaps even a new regional form of some Unova Pokemon, as that's the next game they'll be remaking, and they already added Ingo to Legends, so it's not too far-fetched. I mean, not just Ingo, they added forms of Unova Pokemon in Legends. Braviary, Basculegion, probably some others that are not immediately coming to mind. But yeah, Pokemon forms I feel like are basically guaranteed. That seems to be what they prefer doing. It's what they did in the Alola games and in Galar and in Legends, and I don't see any reason for them to not continue that because it's a really fun, cool way to give attention to older Pokemon. As for mechanics, I'd like to see them bring in a faction mechanic. If the rumors are true, I have not heard any rumors, I'm not on Twitter. The game's premise is about two factioning schools. Huh, is that to explain the different outfits depending on the version? So you're a student of a different school and there's a rivalry? It's a little interesting. Have certain Pokemon maybe evolve depending on the school you're in, and during battle there's people spectating who may be judging. So it's a combination of contests and battles, where not only do you have to beat your opponent faction's Pokemon, but also impress the referee and judges that you won with skills outside of spamming Hyper Beam. An interesting challenge trying to win battles via certain methods. Although part of me is concerned that that would stifle creativity. I think they'll add regional forms, me too. I also think the game mechanic will have something to do with a rainbow light or light in general, because the Japanese logos have something that looks like a prism in them. I mean, I feel like that's a bit of a stretch. I mean, like the Z moves were just, the symbol's just diamonds. So it's like, how are you supposed to know they're just super powered moves? I'd personally love to see a poison steel type, maybe a regional Steelix or something that starts as like a poison / rock onyx. Ooh, what an interesting idea. These are all the type combinations that have yet to show up in Pokemon, and poison steel would be a cool one. I personally think grass fire is the one that I most want to see, just because I think that's the most interesting. And also fairy ground, because Wolfie VGC has mentioned how that would be an insanely good typing. I'd like to see some new world Pokemon as a reference to Spain and Portugal's various conquests around the globe. So some Pokemon that have to do with killing a lot of innocent people? Oh, based on Central and South American Pokemon. Okay, all right. I really want to see Sawsbuck in the games. It's one of my favorite Pokemon and totally deserves new typings for its forms. I would choose normal fairy, normal grass, normal ground or ghost, and normal ice. I mean, I think it would be cool to see Sawsbuck again. Would be interesting if they did seasons again, but I kind of doubt it. But also with Sawsbuck, I feel like if they're gonna change one of its typings for each season, they would change normal, because its whole thing is that its antlers are that of a tree. I want this game to be on the challenging side, like how the older titles were. The last 3 regions were awesome, but part of the fun of being a Pokemon trainer is getting to have challenging yet fun battles. In the last few titles, it was nearly impossible to do since you're at least 5 levels above your opponent at all times. I mean, I don't fully agree with you. I'm gonna be real. If you're over leveled, that's usually due to bad experience share curving. Like the Alola games, I was not over leveled. The Gen 6 games, yeah, you did end up kind of over leveled. Gen 8, I don't really remember, but then like freaking Brilliant Diamonds League is the hardest league ever. So rather than just say, let's make it harder like the older games were, because a lot of times the older games weren't hard, the level curves were just bad. They just forced you to do a lot of grinding to just be at their level. What's more challenging is more interesting strategies, not just the Pokemon being higher level than you. I also hope the champion this time around mains a Pokemon that originated from this region, unlike Leon and that damn Charizard. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Ha! It is I, Grunty Boy.
Hold on. I think I'm receiving a vision from the future.
I've been dealing with an overgrowth of back hair recently.
You're going to tell me that the sponsor of this video is Raid Shadow Legends.
Whoa, what? You can see the future? And it told you the sponsor of the video?
Oh, I just guessed the sponsor. I did get a premonition, but it only told me something very weird, so it might have just been a hallucination.
Oh. Well, anyways, Raid Shadow Legends is an incredibly fun free-to-play game where you can collect over 600 champions and use them to fight your way through epic battles, including those in the Doom Tower. It's basically a giant prison for all kinds of baddies sealed away long ago, but they're gaining strength in an attempt to escape. It's your job to dive in and knock some heads.
Wait, I'm receiving another vision. There are some intense boss fights in there.
Okay, you can definitely see the future.
Nope, just another guess.
Then why say you're getting a vision? The bosses in there are big and bad and often ignore block debuffs. And some of them need specific strategies to beat, like the Scarab King. He takes barely any damage unless you reduce his max HP, and if you attack him without a shield buff on, he'll wreck your whole team really fast. Raid has a ton to offer overall though, like fighting through the campaign and battling other players in the PvP arena, all while collecting new awesome champions along the way.
Another vision? New players can get some really awesome stuff, right?
Okay, you clearly can't see anything, you're just making educated guesses. But you are right. If you use my link in the description below or scan the QR code on screen, new players will get a free starter pack worth almost $30 to kickstart your game. We're talking a free champion Tayrel, 200,000 silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy refill, and 1 ancient shard, so you can summon an awesome champion as soon as you get in game. You can find rewards here for 30 days only.
Nice. Also, I guess you're right. I can't see the future. It must have just been a weird hallucination.
Yeah, no more vision nonsense, please. But anyways, I have to head off to my waxing appointment. I've been dealing with an overgrowth of back hair recently. Ta-ta!
Huh. Well, anyways, back to the video. I hope the NPCs are seen doing day-to-day activities like normal people. Side quests were a good touch in Legends Arceus, Arceus, to connect with the world we explored and people. Yeah, I mean, I think side quests are fun. More Pokedex-based lore details, like seeing Pokemon doing different things that the Pokedex says they do. For instance, Pikachu has been known to chew on wires in the manga and burn berries with electricity. We probably won't see Pikachu doing that in game. Maybe seeing Pikachu around lampposts at night or around berry trees would be a cute touch. I agree with you, and I think one thing that the Pokemon games are really improving on is the smaller touches like that. For most of the games since the 3D era of Pokemon, their battle poses have been very static. So Luxray is a great example. Prior to Legends Arceus, its battle pose is just kind of standing there. But then in Legends, they made it down, crouching, ready to pounce. And they do a lot of those smaller details in Legends, like they'll look at you and then they'll look back. Better than just the turn back with the affection thing, you know what I mean? They all do the different sleeping when you send them out of their Pokeball and that kind of thing. And so I feel like it should only improve, and we'll get to see more little subtler, cool or cute details about Pokemon in the future. I hope the Drowsy and Frostbite statuses get implemented. So I'll say right now, Frostbite, absolutely. Freeze has always been an extremely stupid status condition because it's basically just like sleep, but potentially infinite. So it's kind of like, what's the point when there's already sleep? Sleep is just a more fair version of freeze. And Frostbite decreases the special attack of the Pokemon with it. So it's a special equivalent of burn. So I love Frostbite, 100% agree, ditch freeze, put in Frostbite. Drowsy, I don't know if I agree though, because it's basically the same as Confusion, and they receive increased damage from attacks. Yeah, I don't really see a reason to keep that. I think it's a bit odd. I just think ditch freeze, put in Frostbite, but then go back to like Confusion and sleep. I've heard people speculating the idea of being able to do the gyms in any order you'd like. I think that would allow every playthrough to feel different. I think that would be really cool. I think what they should do is kind of like what they did in Origins, where Brock is like, how many badges do you have? And Red's like, none. And Brock's like, all right, I'll only use 2 Pokemon against you. So they have different teams based on how many badges you've gotten. I think that would add a lot to the open world aspect of it to be able to make that choice. Kind of like how in Breath of the Wild, I know when everybody talks about open world, they talk about Breath of the Wild, but it's one of the best games ever made, if not the best game ever made, so there's a reason for that, where you could pick which divine beast you wanted to go to first. You could do the same here. I mean, I don't know if there makes sense to make you choose between 8 badges, but maybe the first 3 or the first 4, or maybe you do the first one is kind of like the tutorial phase, and then you could choose the order of the next 3 or 4 or something like that. I think that'd be really cool. Personally, I hope to see a lot of old Pokemon in the games. I mean, based on the initial trailers, you're going to. As a relatively new fan, I would love to be introduced to older Pokemon through this game. I would also like to hope for a more challenging game, something more focused on strategy instead of doing the same super effective move. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that could work, but they just have to increase the AI to be more like a person, which is really hard. Because what makes single battling tricky against a real person is the real person figuring out what you're gonna do and then swapping their Pokemon or doing something unpredictable. And That's hard to program. Finally, I hope that they keep and improve upon what they've done in Legends with the grit dust and such. I would love to see a game like Arceus with a slightly more linear focus of a traditional Pokemon game. So, I mean, I don't know about the linear focus. This is gonna be the first truly open world Pokemon game, so I like that it won't be 100% linear. But with the grit dust, 100%. A thing about Legends Arceus that I don't think is talked about enough is the fact that they got rid of IVs, which is amazing. I think it's incredibly stupid that you have to spend time breeding IVs and you can't guarantee a perfect Pokemon just to be useful and competitive. EVs, where you can choose how you want to distribute stat points, whether you want to prioritize speed or defense or attack or whatever, those can stay. I think that's an interesting piece of strategy. But IVs, there's no strategy. It's just have the best possible and go through all the pains to try and get that. I am fully in the camp of get rid of IVs and make each individual instance of a certain species of Pokemon identical, aside from its nature, its abilities, and whatever EVs it ends up getting as it grows. I want to see more regional variants for early route Pokemon, like maybe Sentret, Poochyena, or Patrat, and give them full Zigzagoon treatment and add a regional evolution. I'm on board for that. I'd be down for Sentret, Poochyena, not Patrat. Watchog sucks. Always love the new regional variants. A lot of you thinking the same thing, same as me. Here's hoping for a Ground Dragon Dunsparce evolution. That would be cool. Also, it's been a while since a new Eevee was introduced. Maybe we can finally get the Dragon type Eevee we deserve. That would be cool. The thing I personally hope for is options and level scaling, as this is going to be open world, so will we actually be able to go wherever we want. So for example, I would want to face Gym 7 as my first gym challenge where their Pokemon are scaled to my Pokemon's levels. Yeah, this is basically, oh, they mentioned Origins. Okay, so this is basically what I was already discussing. As a Portuguese, I would love to see anything related to the maritime expansion where Portugal was the biggest empire in the world with colonies all over the place. I would be more interested in kind of an exploration angle. The colonization angle is problematic, but with the explorer vibe, you know, setting sail, discovering new worlds, I think that's a lot more interesting. So I think it would be cool if there was some kind of mechanic where you could go on some kind of voyage and discover pieces of land that are totally uninhabited except for Pokemon. So you get to be some kind of explorer. I think that would be really cool. I wish you could see some classic rivalries like Seviper Zangoose play out in the wild area. It would be so fun to see them fighting with each other as we're roaming nearby. That would be cool. Give Tauros some love. Preach. I love Tauros. Hasn't gotten crap. Minotauros, give us the Minotauros we deserve. I really hope for two major things. I hope that you'll be able to send out your Pokemon at any point, just like in Pokemon Legends Arceus. I feel like that's pretty likely. It really felt like I was with the Pokemon and it was great standing next to my Pokemon. I also hope that following Pokemon from Let's Go makes a return. The following from Let's Go was amazing. However, if they take following from Sword and Shield and BDSP, then I would rather not have following Pokemon at all. Your opinions are basically the same as mine. Following in Sword and Shield, the expansion pass, and BDSP are garbage. Don't put them in my game. But yeah, being able to better interact with your Pokemon outside of their Pokeballs just anywhere, as opposed to being limited to Pokemon Me or Pokemon Refresh or Pokemon Camp, is really nice, and I hope that sticks around. I would like to see the Pokemon interact with the world more. Imagine how cool it would be to see Pokemon playing with each other, climb trees, and other cool stuff. Yeah, that's basically what we were talking about before, seeing them have more personality just outside in the world. I love the idea of seeing them play with each other in the wild. I think that would be really cool. And you could interrupt their playdate with violence. I also want to see a Pokemon Grass-Fire typing. Oh, you know, you understand. A regional evolution for Sunflora. No! Stop it! I feel like if they made an area called something like Exotic Isle, where you could catch all the old regional forms. Oh, I think that'd be pretty neat. Maybe it could be Safari Zone style. Interesting idea. And you could go on an explorer's voyage to it. This is weirdly specific. I'd like to see the introduction of held items that would allow some Pokemon to become more relevant in the competitive scene. Sort of like how Eviolite is the saving grace for Dusclops and Porygon 2. One idea is a kinetic prism, which turns all special attacks to physical ones. Oh. This specifically would be great for Pokemon from Gen 1 like Tauros, Kangaskhan, and Nidoking, who have heavy investment in the attack stat and amazing TM teachability for special moves. Ah, it swaps physical and special. That would be interesting. A new Rotom form, such as a Drill that would be ground type. Or a Ghost evolution. I mean, I feel like if they ever do another evolution, it should be Dragon, the last special type. I'd like more character customization from the start, even though it's unlikely. It would be cool to be able to choose from different heights. Oh, and more than just a few skin tones they give you. I don't think heights are likely because we're clearly supposed to be small children, but I'm always down for more customization. The Iberian Peninsula has some of the best Roman ruins outside of Italy, and a fascinating blend of European, North African, and Middle Eastern influences. Perhaps instead of fossil Pokemon, this region could continue the relic Pokemon idea that started with Cophagrigus. In Scarlet, you might find an Aegislash regional form that's based on a Roman legionnaire's gladius and scutum shield from antiquity. And in Violet, the ruin contains Aegislash based on Berber scimitars and Adarga shields from the Umayyad period. This is extremely cool. Pokemon like Sinistea already have different patterns. Perhaps in the two versions, you could find it with both ancient Roman black and orange designs and European designs from Sword and Shield and the intricate Moorish designs from their pottery. I love this idea. How does this not have more upvotes? I really want to be able to explore a bunch of ancient ruins and find some really cool Pokemon there. Outside of relic Pokemon, I'd like a dragon with a visual nod to windmills, evoking the scene from Don Quixote where he's attempting to slay a dragon and just attacking windmills. I haven't read Don Quixote, but that's cool. On the topic of dragons, I personally would like to see the region's pseudo-legendary not be dragon type. Seriously, the last non-dragon pseudo-legendary was Metagross in like 2002 or 3, whenever Ruby and Sapphire came out. Balance-wise, I'd love to see them swap Bug to being super effective against Fairy rather than being resisted by Fairy. Wolfie VGC is a great video about how to make the Bug type better because it's the worst type in the game. And the first thing he does to make it a more acceptable type is making Bug super effective against Fairy, which I think lore-wise makes sense. If they're smart, I think the regional battle mechanic should affect the battlefield, not the Pokemon. Rather than giving, let's be honest, Pokemon like Charizard another form, they could have these color prisms act like a combination of weather and terrain. Perhaps only last 3 turns like Gigantamax and only be deployed once per battle. Some of the prism colors could do damage over time, have inherent field hazards. Okay, so basically you're guessing that whatever the thing is in the logo is basically like an item you use that impacts the field for a limited time. Each gym leader could deploy their signature prism to make the badge battle uniquely strategic. That's an interesting idea. I have 2 main ideas I'd love to see in the game. The first is a flamingo Pokemon. That'd be great. We don't have a flamingo Pokemon. I also want to see a moose Pokemon. Crazy that we don't have one of those. Are moose in the Iberian Peninsula? Pretty sure they're not, but neither are crocodiles. And one of the starters is a crocodile. I'd sort of like some regional forms that turn out to be weaker than the normal ones. What? Like the reverse of the Galarian Obstagoon situation where it turns out the 3-stage Pokemon we already know is the strong regional variant, and normally they only have 2 stages with different typing. Why would you want that? New forms are exciting when they're good and cool and you can use them and kick some butt with them. Has anyone ever been more excited for Elekid than Electivire? I certainly am not. I want the new strong evolutions. I don't want a new weaker form. I would love to see a regional variant of the Ralts line. I guess, yeah. I'd rather some Pokemon that haven't gotten as much attention, like Tropius. I'd love to see Tropius get some love, but I could live with that. I also want this story to actually be good compared to Switch. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Sword and Shield story is bad. Like Chairman Rose's whole motivation, like he's such a bad villain. It's like, I'm gonna do all this crazy stuff to set us up for 1,000 years in the future. It doesn't make any sense. He's got no good motivation. My solemn belief is that it will finally be the game with an increased difficulty mode. Pokemon already knows that people want it, but after the failures of Black 2, White 2 challenge mode and Ultra Sun and Moon, they know they need to make a tough game for the massive modern hardcore community. Sword and Shield couldn't due to the many evolutions. I'm not sure I understand the many evolutions part. And the same goes for Legends Arceus. In fact, the positive acceptance of the high difficulty in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, I don't know about positive, makes me think that their evolution in this game will be down real difficulty in a mode or even naturally. Plus the power creep, the new enemies need to be strong for balancing the powerful new Pokemon. So my thing on difficulty is that it needs to be optional. If you're forcing a little kid playing Pokemon for the first time into a game designed for people who've been playing Pokemon for 15 years, that's gonna ruin Pokemon for them. So just give us difficulty modes, but also make them kind of realistic. The main reason I hated the League in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl is because it was full competitive Pokemon, which you have no way of having, and it wasn't anywhere near that hard for the entire playthrough up to that point. Although if they get rid of IVs, that's a big, big barrier to competitive Pokemon. Seriously, is this gonna be my new preaching mission that Pokemon needs to get rid of IVs? It doesn't contribute anything, it just ruins competitive Pokemon. You wanna know why people cheat in or hack competitive Pokemon, or they only play competitive Pokemon on Showdown? Because it's too much work and too difficult to get perfect Pokemon. And then it's too difficult to change them when you want to change something. You know what? That actually leads me, something they should implement if they want competitive Pokemon to be taken seriously as an esport, like on the level of a lot of the other big esport games like CSGO or Rocket League, and with the bigger prize pools that those provide, they have to make a battle simulator, an official battle simulator, where the competitors don't have to spend hours and hours breeding a team only to end up, oh, they want to change something. Or they don't have to hack in illegitimate Pokemon because they don't have the time to do that because they have jobs or something. If they made their own Pokemon Showdown-like battle simulator that you could use in the native game, then competitive Pokemon as an esport would take off because it removes the enormous barriers to entry that there currently are. I want Kalos to get some sort of appearance, considering Spain and France share a border, considering the northeastern part of the Spain region map was always hidden in the trailer, which is where the border with France is. I think and want that we may be able to go to southern Kalos in the post-game and explore it, unlike in X and Y. That would be interesting, because Kalos is basically like totally disappeared since X and Y. I mean, Unova has technically gone the longest without reappearing in a game now, but Unova also got 4 total games, including sequels, which expanded that world, whereas Kalos got 2 mediocre games and nothing else. I really hope they have a battle frontier like the one in Hoenn. I'd love that. I don't think it's gonna happen. They've clearly decided that that is not a priority. I think the part where you see the types represented on a flower painting on the ground might be hinting to a new type. I think the sound type or light type might be it, but I really want a cool type, like something related to grapes and oranges. So grass? Okay, so let's count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 17, 18. That's still 18. Yeah, and here's an even better view of it. It doesn't show the full circle, but like, it's symmetrical, which means there's an even number, and for them to add a new type, that would have to get to 19, which is an odd number. Another thing that I personally hope they include are experience candies. Those are extremely useful. That's where I'm gonna wrap it up for this video. If there are any other hopes you have for Scarlet and Violet that weren't talked about in this video, let me know down in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. With an extra special thanks to my patrons over on Patreon who are helping support my channel independent of fluctuating YouTube ad rates. If you wanna help support me in the same way, the link's in the description below. Also, if you wanna check out some more of my fun Pokemon content, I recommend these videos here. All right, that's all I have for now. So until next time, big fans, gotta catch them all.